Hey, welcome to another episode of Random Things with BK. Today, we're going to solve a problem that a lot of us have. You have so many toys in your garage, you have no room in your garage. So Tyler, my cousin, has a couple of kayaks and he needs a way to store those kayaks not in the garage. So we're going to build him a kayak rack. A few things to consider, because some of you may wonder, why are we using just regular lumber and not pressure treated lumber? You can use pressure treated lumber. Actually, that would be recommended. However, we're trying to save costs because this is a temporary solution. So Tyler's just going to go in later and spray this with some spray paint to protect the wood. It only needs to last him a year or two until he moves to a bigger garage. And so we decided to save the cost and just go with regular pine lumber. This kayak rack is going to hold 2 kayaks. However, this design could be multiplied to, you could probably store up to 3 to 4 on it, depending on how you want to space them out and that type of thing. So we're going to get started. We got to make some cuts. So Tyler, when we're building the kayak rack, most kayaks are somewhere in the 30 or so range in the width. So our outriggers will be about 30 inches. But we want to make sure that the base of it is going to hold you know, the forward weight and keep it from tipping back. So we're going to cut our base legs at about 4 feet. That'll give us enough that we can have some overhang back and we'll be out at least as far as our outriggers. Okay?
Sounds good.
So we're going to measure these up and go to 4 feet, which is half of our 2x4. We're going to need our outriggers for the kayaks to sit on, and those are going to be 30 inches each. So we're going to cut 4 of those because we are going to only have 2 kayaks on this rack, so 1 outrigger for each one. Here is that we're not building fine cabinetry, so we don't have to be like exactly precise on all of this stuff, right? It's just got to be in the general range because we want the kayak to sit up on there and it'll be good.
Sure.
Other things we have to be way more precise. All right. So now we need 1 more 30-inch piece, and then we'll be ready to start assembling. All right, just set that one off to the side. We'll use it later. Okay, so sometimes you'll find in your wood that you purchase that it might have a staple or something. And how I like to pull them out is, if you'll notice on a pair of vice grips, they'll always have a curved head like this. So if you'll take the take the vice grips and attach them, and you got to make sure it's tight, and I'm a little loose, so I'm going to tighten them up maybe a little more. If you just take that, you can use that to turn, and it'll usually just pull it right out. Now this one is being pesky, and it actually broke on me, but there's enough in there I should be able to get a hold of it again. And again, see, I just use that rounded part and it pulls it right out. That was a little trick I've learned over time. Get those little thin staples out. Okay, now we're going to attach this leg onto this upright, and we're going to measure this because we want it to be a little bit longer than our outriggers, and our outriggers are at 30 inches long, and so we're going to measure this out to 32 from the edge of this board. So right there, I'm at 32, and I'm gonna get this flush on the bottom, and then Tyler's gonna put in a few screws for me. Well, folks, we've made a mistake. So, when you're building your legs, I forgot to account for that I really want this to be the outside on both sides. And so what I should have done is I should have measured the 32 from that direction, since we were doing it on the same side of here, right? Because it really is going to actually be like this. So we're going to pull this leg off and we're going to flop it around.
Yeah.
Now we have our legs built. So now what we're going to do is start to assemble the rack, and we're going to do that probably right over here because we need a little space. So Tyler, if you'll grab that other leg there. And okay, so now we're ready to attach our uprights. And we're going to attach two of these uprights, and then we're just going to make sure that they're going to be good for the kayaks. Now you said, Tyler, you have a 9-foot and a 10-foot kayak, right?
That's correct.
Yep. So we're putting the stretch in at about 8 feet, a little bit under that, and then we're going to attach our uprights to the inside to also sort of reduce that space, but then we're going to also do some bracing. So I like to start my rack, if I'm only doing a couple, you could start it at 2 feet up. And then if you ever got another one, you could always throw it on that bottom brace. Oh, yeah. So they give you a third spot just right off the bat. Does that make sense?
Sure.
All right, so let's make some marks. So we're going to come off of here at 24 inches. And we want to make the mark on the side because that's where we're going to put the board. So there's one. There's two. Alright, so we're going to take one of my kayaks, which is a 9.5 foot kayak, and you can see that it fits on here great. We could even flip it over, Tyler, and store them upside down, which is probably how Tyler will store his because you don't want the water to get in there. And you can see it's got plenty of good stable space to hang, right? All right, cool. Well, let's set this off to the side and we'll put the next tier on. So now we're ready to put the second set of uprights on, or outriggers, whatever I'm calling them. We're going to go up another 24 inches, which should give us room for our bracing and plenty of room for the any depth kayak to fit in there. All right, so now we're going to work on getting the top and the back bracing in. Okay, so you may have been wondering why I put the outriggers on before I put the top on. And that was so that I could tip it forward, have it sit on those, and it'd be easy for us to attach stuff to it. And also we're going to put an X brace in, so this makes a much better platform to be able to work on. So Tyler, if you grab some screws and the drill, we'll get this top on here. And make sure your inside corner is still square, or is square. There you go. All right, go ahead and put like a third one in, just a little bit out, but still hitting the top there. Does that make sense? Like in the middle, but come forward. Okay, perfect. All right, let's do this side now. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so now we want to do our cross brace. So we're going to take our 10 footer so that we got plenty to play with. Then Tyler, you go over there and I'll come over here. Okay, so what we've done is we want these braces to actually fit down here in this notch and in that notch. So we've set them up here to where they're covering from the corner in. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to reach under here and we're going to mark them. Now, I'm sure that there's some of you out there that are smart enough to figure out that angle without doing it this way. But this is the BK way. I don't figure out angles. Tyler brought up a good point. We're going to get a better contact point on the wider 2x4. So on the bottom side, I don't have the need to cut anything because it's just going to land on here just fine. But on the top side, we'd have some sticking over. So Tyler's marked the outside underneath of that board, and we're just going to flip this over, and we're just going to cut that line off so that it will match up to that corner up there. Okay, so now we're going to add a little extra support to our outriggers and to our bottom braces. And to do that, we're just going to use the easy, simple method. And we're going to put a spacer onto the outrigger. And then we're going to take our down brace and line it up. And the key here is that this corner and this block cannot be above this plane because the kayak's going to sit on it. And this one needs to be just, you're going to angle it down until the back edge is level with the back of the piece. And then you're going to screw it on. So Tyler, if you'll come and put a screw, and if you'll get my block level there after you get one started. Alright, and so that tells us where our block placement's going to be. I'll move this brace for a second and let him finish putting the screws in that. Cool. Alright, and then we're going to put this on. So again, you're just lining up your two corners. You want the top one there and the back one there. Alright, and then we're just going to repeat this 5 more times. Alright, so as you can see, we have it all done. We've added braces to all of the outriggers and to the bottom. You can see it's really stable now. And because of our back pieces, it's stable both ways. It's stable sideways because of our down brace. Our kayak fits on there just perfect. He'll be able to set 2 on there, and if he ever needed to put a 3rd in the bottom, he could do it. So that's gonna wrap this episode up. Another episode of Random Things with BK. If this was helpful to you, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.